This is Lama Tantrapa. Thank you for joining us for this online class dedicated to exploring foundational principles of energy arts, including Qigong, Tai Chi, and other internal arts. What we're going to do today is look at one of the most simple and elegant principles that we're going to study, how to be natural. It may sound almost redundant. Why would you need to learn how to be natural? You just need to stop being unnatural. Well, it sounds really easy, doesn't it? But when you consider that most of us have been domesticated by society, our upbringing, education, religion, etc., so that we would basically develop some unnatural traits or unnatural patterns of behavior or habits or addictions. This means we actually need to learn how to let go of some of the things that are less than natural. And today we're going to explore one of the most obvious ones, the one that almost each and every person on earth learns for some strange reason, and we will discover ways to overcome this issue. This issue is tension. It's not natural to tense up when you're being pressed. Let me repeat it again. It is more natural to relax under pressure than to tense up. Why? Because you can survive better. Because you can function better under pressure if you relax. Those individuals, those specimens of different species that function better under pressure are the ones who perform better, so they survive or have better offspring. So what happens is that we learn how to develop this ability to relax under pressure. And guess what? It's not only something that we talk about. Oh yeah, it's nice to relax under pressure so we don't get stressed out at work or at home or at school or somewhere else. We also learn how to physically relax under pressure first. Because if you do that, you literally embody this principle so that we can walk the talk. Instead of just talking the talk, we learn how to walk the talk. And to learn how to relax under pressure, you can just apply pressure to yourself. For example, find areas of tension in your body. For example, if I just scan my body for a moment, and you're welcome to scan it too. Where are some areas of tension? If there are any areas of tension, let's bring our attention. Attention is like negation of tension. We'll look into attention in our next class. But for example, if I check, it seems like the tension in my left shoulder is greater than tension in my right shoulder for some reason. Okay? So what I'm doing now is bringing attention to this area of tension and applying just a bit of pressure. There are certain principles as to how much pressure to apply and also which direction to apply this pressure. These are details that we're going to explore in our further classes. Right now, let's just figure out that we can first connect through touch with area of the body that is underperforming. That's tense or more tense than it needs to be. This undue tension is not a sign of strength. It's actually a sign of weakness. What do I mean by that? Tense muscles can't perform very well. If you consider that the functioning of the muscle consists of ability to contract and relax, if the muscle is already contracted, it can't contract much more because it's already as tense as it could be or close to that. And it can't relax. If it could, it would have done it a long time ago. So in other words, we cannot function with the tense part of the body. This actually may lead to recognizing that in general, tension is not a sign of strength. It's a sign of weakness. Now, if you really pay attention to how much we apply this understanding to everything in our lives, we'll see that tension is almost synonymous to energy blockage. Because whenever the energy is flowing in a certain part of the body that is tense, it basically has a hard time flowing through the tense tissue. So it will create certain stagnation on one side of that energy blockage and energy deficiency on the other side. Now what happens is we learn how to release this tension by literally learning to apply pressure and let go of the tension. I literally create some pressure on my shoulder, muscle right here, deltoid, and tense it up a little bit more, and then relax. Why did I tense up a little bit more first? Because there is no signal of relaxation that the central nervous system can send to the muscles. There is only more signals of contraction or fewer signals of contraction. So what do? We contract the muscle a little bit more, but do it consciously now. And then when we're ready to release the tension, we simply stop sending the signals of contraction. Now, of course, you may think, well, I could have just relaxed from the get-go, but since it was non-conscious tension, you couldn't stop doing that which you were doing unconsciously. Now, when you applied pressure and you tensed up a little bit more, you can feel how there is more tension. You're doing it consciously, and now you can consciously stop doing it. And when you consciously tense up and then consciously release tension, the level of tension will often drop below the initial level that you had before you did this exercise. If you do it more than once, it will actually drop each and every time. So I do it again. I contract this muscle, and now release this tension. Notice I also had a little bit of sigh of relief. You may notice your breathing pattern changes when you're ready to release tension. Or you may start yawning, which is another great meditative and relaxation breathing technique. So, when you contract, often you will inhale. Just like when you yawn, you start with inhalation, and most of the muscles of the body contract when you yawn, don't you? And so then, you're ready to release tension. Exhale, and all the muscles of the body start letting go, including the muscle in question. So it's not just the relaxation of this particular muscle, the entire body becomes more relaxed. How would you benefit from having more relaxed whole body? Well, let's see. For example, I can be much more stable on my feet and not being pushed over easily if I'm relaxed. Again, a paradox. Many people think if I push back with tension or force, I will be able to withstand pressure. We'll test it. I'm going to ask one of my students and friends, Craig Payton, to do me a favor and assist me by simply pushing me into my stomach. Would you do me a favor and just push me with your hand into my stomach? So I was a little bit tense, and Craig pushed me over relatively easily. Still, the more tension, the easier it is to push over. Now I relax. Notice how it didn't work. Do it again. I just relaxed, and I don't get pushed over. Notice how the stomach is actually softer. If you push me right into the stomach and just, you can even clench your fist so you can really feel it. You just kind of go right into it. Imagine a water balloon. If you fill the balloon with water and put it on the kitchen counter or in the sink and try to push it. You push it and it just slushes around. The same thing happens here. You push with your fist and I just do what water does. Most of the human body is made of water. So we learn how to be more like water, my friends. We learn how to redistribute the pressure that is applied in one particular direction so that it flows in all the directions. 360 degrees, actually even more because it's in three-dimensional volume of my body. Instead of just being affected by this vector of force, the force is distributed everywhere, just like in that water balloon. And as a result, I don't get pushed over easily. I don't even feel like I have to struggle against the push. I just simply relax into it. Would you do me a favor and push me one more time? Notice how I just exhale, relaxed, and in Chinese it's often referred to as song. So it's that relaxation that is not completely limp. There is certain tone, but it's not a high level of tension. It's a much more relaxed state than most people experience when they're under pressure. So what we do is we learn how to translate this into other spheres of life once we develop this sense of embodiment. So for example, if I push you, Craig. So see if you can react to my push by tensing up more. It's really difficult to stand if you are pushing back. And the more tense you become, the easier it is to push you over, yeah? Exactly. So now what we're going to do is do the opposite of that. You inhale and immediately exhale. Nice. Great. And you don't have to bend over so much. You just maintain nice alignment of your spine. Yes. Feel that? Yeah. So would you push me? I'm not going anywhere. I'm actually comfortable here. I'm not tensing up. And as the push is coming, he's helping me breathe. I'm literally just exhaling the air out of the lungs because he is pressing on my stomach, helping me expel air. Thank you, Craig. That was a really nice, relatively easy technique that I encourage you to play with. You can invite somebody, a friend, a neighbor, a partner, to play with you. And you can actually do a little bit of coaching like we just did with Craig, pushing each other and developing the ability to really recognize when it's not necessary to tense up and develop that sense of relaxation so that you don't have to push back or be reactive. Now, what's the alternative of reactivity? Being responsive. We'll continue digging deeper into this principle of being responsive rather than reactive in our classes as well.